For the last several months, I've been doing a little series of videos about light bread, what lots of people call maybe sandwich bread, store-bought bread, white bread, lots of different things. I'll link to that playlist below so that you can go see all the videos we've done on light bread. And while it's not exactly the most healthiest thing to eat, it does play a role in the foodways of Appalachia. You can, if you go back and look at the videos, or maybe you've been following along, you can kind of see the different ways we use it. Well, today I'm going to share another way that we use it, which is so simple. It's like one of the most common things across Appalachia, but even across the United States, I know, is that we love to use it toasted for an egg sandwich. It's a funny thing about, and I like it toasted for an egg sandwich if I'm going to eat scrambled eggs or if I'm going to eat fried eggs. But today I'm going to make scrambled eggs. I've already got some bacon that I did in the oven. It's just me and Matt this morning, so this is going to be a really quick breakfast for us. But when it comes to scrambled eggs, of course I grew up eating scrambled eggs. I'm sure you did too. They're very common all over the world. Right away, it was something that we had and that we would ask for, especially Paul. He really loved scrambled eggs. And it was him, actually. He's 4 years younger than I am, and I don't remember how little we were when he said this, but it stuck with me. He told me one day, he said, when Mama makes scrambled eggs, she makes them like little bitty pieces. And when Daddy, he called him Daddy then, we did, when Daddy makes scrambled eggs, he makes them like big blankets. They're like blankets. And I thought, you're right. I've never noticed that, but you're right. Two totally different ways of making scrambled eggs. Something that simple, like many recipes that are really common, kind of like the cabbage one I did recently, fried cabbage. People have their own variations, their own preferences. Obviously, Granny's was to scramble them till they were little pieces. I think people actually call them curds. I just think of them as pieces, but little pieces of eggs. Pap's was to go with the big kind of blankets, like Paul said, so they were great old big pieces of scrambled eggs. Over the years, I've made them both ways, not on purpose, just because if I'm in a hurry, that's just kind of what happened. But I prefer Pap's method. Mine don't always turn out that way. Another thing when it comes to scrambled eggs is, there's people that likes to cook them really slow. And then there's people who like to just get the pan piping hot and pour them in there, stir them around, and it's over quickly. I'm probably lean more towards that. And even there's a lot of people that like to put cream or half and half or milk. And I do that sometimes. Typically when I do that, I'm not going to do that this morning, is when I don't have many eggs. In my mind, I always, and I don't even know where I picked that up at years ago, especially when the girls were little and things were much tighter financially. I got it in my mind that made them go further if I didn't have many eggs. So I would put milk or half and half or whatever I had, mostly milk in them, and I would do that. Of course, scrambled eggs makes a great breakfast for me and Matt this morning, but it makes a great supper. Sometimes if this same sandwich, if I'm in a hurry and we're in late and we don't have much time, I'm just like, I'm going to make a scrambled egg sandwich for supper. And it's very filling, and me and Matt never get tired of them, so it's a good thing for that too. And there's all kinds of things that you can add into your scrambled eggs, kind of like an open omelet, think of that, or a mixed up omelet. And I know if you watch my videos, you've seen we like to put sausage in ours a lot of times. I love to, someone years ago that read my blog, I wish I could think of her name at the moment, I can't, but shared a recipe with me. It was very simple, and you've probably done this, is to saute some onions and then pour the scrambled eggs over them and then scramble them, that way, and that's really good. So many different variations. So I'm going to show you how I do mine, but I hope that you'll leave a comment and be sure to share how you do your scrambled eggs. Okay, I've got my butter melted in my pan, I've got my eggs, and I'm just going to put some salt and pepper. Of course, at this stage you could put whatever you wanted to. And I am going to use a whisk. I think that's part of the key, and I don't always do it, but to have really nice blanket ones like Pat made is to really make sure you whip the eggs good. The pan's getting too hot. I'm going to move it just a minute. Actually going to turn it way down now because I've probably got it hot enough already. So then I kind of let them cook for a minute or so before I start pushing them around. at this point, I turn the eye off and move the pan off the heat and let them finish cooking while I'm getting the toast out of the toaster. So another good thing about like kind of letting them finish, especially if you use a cast iron pan, is the pan stays so hot. Like while I've got the toast out and I cut up some fruit there for us to have, it keeps the eggs hot, kind of keeps them heated there, because cast iron retains the heat for so long. And of course you could use a non-stick pan too. I think lots of people like that, but Matt and I love cast iron and we use them so much that ours are really kind of non-stick at this point. Gotta get the mayonnaise. Oh, I forgot to get out your Cholula. Matt wants to put, he loves to put Cholula on his eggs. I'll have to get that for you. It's way too hot for me, too hot and spicy. I should have got you a spoon for the, get the eggs out.
My fingers if I have to.
Yeah, that'd be alright, it's just us. Is Cholula as hot as Texas Pete, or is it different flavor, or what?
Texas Pete is not even hot to me.
Oh, to you, because you like it.
It's not real hot, it's just got a pepper flavor that I like.
It goes good with eggs, because I notice, I guess you put it, if you like that flavor, you always put it on your eggs.
It goes good with everything.
With everything?
Yeah. I like it.
And then we like to put our bacon right on the eggs. It's kind of a comforting meal too, isn't it?
Yep.
So like on those days when we're tired and I've had a big day and I don't have time to cook or don't feel like cooking, and you eat this, it's comforting. Even if it's, you know, if it's in the summer, you get to have a fresh Cherokee purple alongside it.
Oh yeah.
Which is delicious.
Mm-hmm. This right here is real good too.
And in the winter, I usually cut up whatever fruit we have. We still have some tangerines, and we always have apples on hand. So Matt probably prefers the orange and tangerine more than I. I prefer the apples. Looks like a good breakfast.
Yes, it does. Thank you, dear.
So Matt's got his coffee he's going to drink with his. He's got his cup full of coffee. I'm going to drink some of my pineapple kefir here. If you missed how to make kefir, I have a video about that. It's really good, and I swear it makes me feel better. Maybe that's all in my head, but I think that it does. Food does become so comforting to you. Those kind of standby food, especially the ones that you grew up with. I've mentioned it several times on my videos, but it is true how even people that have told me over the years, and I've read stories about how even foods that kind of were in a place of lack of food, like they didn't have much, they ended up eating cornbread every day. You know, their mother and father fixed it, or whatever it was that, you know, they just thought, and they swore, when I get grown, I'll never eat this again when I have money and I can buy what I want. But yet they found themselves wanting those things that maybe come from a place of lacking, you know, having anything you wanted. Today, of course, most of us all live in the land of plenty and get to choose what we want. But it is something about food that takes you back to those times, like scrambled eggs, whether they were the big blankets like I made today is more of the pat variety, or the little pieces like Paul said about Granny's. Really takes you back to those times and brings comfort to you. So I'm going to get mostly apples, but I guess I will get a few oranges. So I hope you enjoyed seeing just another way that we use light bread here in our house in the mountains of Appalachia. There's just, when it comes to sandwiches, of course, there's just tremendous different ones. Even an egg sandwich, the variation could be the fried one. I like my fried egg sandwich like I like my eggs. I like the yellow a little bit runny, but not really runny. Matt wants his really runny. So even that, there's so many different variations. As always, we hope you'll drop back by often to help us celebrate Appalachia, which is a whole lot of the traditional foodways that even light bread that's not very healthy for you kind of plays into, but also that family and those traditions of food that you grew up with and that you continue to feed to your family once you're grown.